pages of history are written by those who claim victory, controlling minds for 2,000 years, kept us in line by stoking our fears. No longer will we hide who we are. We're stronger together by far. We are witches, we shall rise from the earth into the skies. Unite.
Hello, how is everybody?
Hi.
Well, we're still here. We haven't been blown away yet, so
Thank
that's
goodness. God, scary
I
as
just-
all.
Want to warn everybody that we are underneath some thunderstorms and some tornadoes. So if we get up and leave, you know.
Bob
So,
and I will close it out and put a nice little bow on it in case they have to run to the basement.
yes. But welcome to the Cauldron, and oh my gosh, we have Bob Freeman in the house tonight. I'm really excited. You know,
A star.
a star because
Yes.
you know when I hear Bob Freeman, I think of Vampirella, a comic book that I have read so
Occult
often.
detective. Yeah.
Yeah, a
He's got a
Occult
series of
detective.
books out. Yeah.
Yes, he has a series of books out, and we're going to get down and get to know him. So, welcome, Bob.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you
So-
for going through the little bit of
Yes.
discombobulation while we tried to figure out whether it was right or wrong to get on with the podcast with the weather being so bad. So thank you for your patience.
Yeah,
The gods
and-
are looking out for us. I feel
Yeah.
good about it.
And you know, like I said, if we kind of like go away, just don't pay attention. Just pray. Don't, you know. So-
Right. Exactly.
And hopefully we don't blow away, but
We're blessed.
Right.
we'll be okay. You know, we always go in and do that famous at that main to the ground, rather go away and split up. So, you know,
And
Yeah.
It does work because I was under a tornado watch when I was in Minnesota, and I watched that sucker literally split,
yeah.
and one went north and one went south, and I was like, all of a sudden I was clear. I was in the clear, so I was like, that worked. See, Bell
See?
confirmed it.
Spirit saying they agree. So-
That's right, exactly.
But Bob, one of the things I want to ask you is, how did you get started doing the Vampirella comic book?
Oh, yeah. So that came about kind of out of the blue. I was doing some work for Frank Frazetta's estate, Frazetta Girls. My son and I were designing a board game for them for another property. And Dynamite Comics reached out to Sarah Frazetta, that's Frank's granddaughter. And they wanted to do something to kind of honor Frank's legacy and asked if she'd be interested in writing a miniseries. And she came to me and she said, look, I'm not really a writer, you know, so would you help me do this? And I, of course, being a Vampirella fan since I was a little kid, you know, I jumped at it. And we had a lot of fun. We kind of had some long discussions on the phone and tried out some different ideas, and we ended up settling on kind of a gothic romance. And yeah, I think it turned out terrific, better than I could have hoped. We had a great artist working with us, Alberto Locatelli, and he just was phenomenal. A very modern artist, but he was able to capture that kind of old school feel. And yeah, it was a dream come true, really, working on that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
exciting.
that's what you were saying about Frank and Sarah.
Friends that.
Fancetti.
Frazetta, yes.
Well, yeah. He was like, you know, those people are interested too. You know, they're really
Frank-
interesting and everything.
Frank was one heck of
Yeah.
an illustrator.
Yes.
Well,
I mean-
if you grew up in the 70s, his art was all over record albums and
Oh,
and
wow.
vans. He was
Yeah.
very popular on van art. So
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, he also did a book too.
He's
That
got a couple
back-
of books on
back in
illustrations.
back in the late 70s, his illustration,
Yeah.
a book of it. And
Actually,
we have
and
it,
he's
but
probably
it was in the
probably
80s.
most famous
Really?
for the work he did with Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
wow.
kind of where I first ran into him as a kid. So
mhm.
Yeah. He is an
What did
artist.
he do for albums? Do you recall, Chris or Bob? What you said
he
he-
did Molly Hatchet album covers, like
Oh.
Flirting with
Did he
Disaster
do Aussie?
was the big one.
No.
Yeah. So
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Being my
wrote
husband's
those
in the
albums.
music business, I'm always curious to learn about that. So that's pretty interesting.
yeah, he also
Yeah.
did like Herman's Hermits was
Oh,
another
my
one that
God.
he did.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Love them. Yeah.
Yeah, he used
Yeah.
to do all kinds of concert posters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He would do all the illustrations for them. He was all over the
Roy
place.
Orbison also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Nguyen is coming in August or September here. We're putting him on here in Phoenix, I think it is. Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved him as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'll tell him that. I know
Saw him
something about your
10
album
years
covers.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah, we saw him about 10 years ago.
10, 12.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so that was pretty cool. So, sis, I'm going back to you.
Well, you found a book called Unseen Forces in your grandmother's desk. Can you tell us about the book and if he changed your life?
Yeah, very much so. Unseen Forces was written by Manly Palmer Hall, a famous hermeticist. And, I have no idea why my grandmother had that book, or great grandmother, I should say. But yeah, I found it. It was actually in an old steamer trunk. And one summer in 1974, I was kind of digging through there, and she had all kinds of like astrological charts, like a little notebook where she was tracking, the planetary positions and when to plant this and when to plant that, and that sort of thing. And so that was fascinating. But when I got to that book, well, first of all, it had a famous woodcut on the cover of the salamander, from Paracelsus. And that's to an 8-year-old boy, this kind of, demonic figure with a Pope hat, and it's just very lurid and just drew me in. And as I set that up that night reading that book, that's what really set me on the path I'm on today, because he was describing the paranormal world as something that was real. Now, as a 60-year-old man now, I don't agree with everything that was in that book, but it opened the door for me. It introduced me to the Dweller on the Threshold, all the elemental spirits. It had a chapter on apparitions and ghosts, and it really changed the way I looked at things. Before that, I thought of the paranormal as something that was exciting, but I don't know that I really believed it. It was just something that was, you're a little kid. So it's like ghosts and that kind of stuff. It's just something you did and you played at. And so that book told me what I needed to know. So.
Wow.
It's interesting. Let me ask you this question as a further in-depth question to that, because I am encountering more and more elementals as I go along in my paranormal investigations. And David Wells, that just popped in here, encountered one on his Parachaney investigation in Michigan. And so I've been reaching out to Michelle Bellinger because, as I know, she's really done a lot of research on that. And I'm actually going to delve into some stuff that she's given me for elementals to learn even more. So do you feel that book was accurate enough to pick that book up on the elemental aspect of it to read for further education?
Absolutely. Yeah. All the information's there. You might just come at it from a different angle than he does.
Okay.
But it definitely gets the ball rolling. And anything you can learn from Michelle, it gets a stamp of approval for me. She's a good friend. I love her to death. And
Yeah, she's awesome. She responded back very quickly to me when I emailed her. So I was like shocked. I was like, holy cow. I expected her being so busy, and she's doing so many of those Zooms and educational classes, which
yeah,
she has some great classes I want to enroll in and really start to learn more. She's focusing on demons this year. She said next year is going to be herbs and herbalists. So
great. Yeah, she's wonderful.
thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I'm in that mode to learn. So
Well, I
So,
think that's, for ghost hunters in particular, the paranormal investigators, usually that's overlooked. Elemental spirits, native spirits,
right.
and to me, that is the majority of what you actually encounter.
Yeah,
And
and they've gotten such a bad rap too. The elementals have had such a bad rap as being demons, and they're not demonic at all.
right, yeah, they're just other. Well, actually, if you go back to the root of the word demon just means spirit,
Right.
right?
Correct.
So, and that's the other thing that that's something that Christianity did, was they took that term and they demonized it.
Right.
So,
Correct. Absolutely.
so I understand that Dave Giuliano was your mentor. How did you two meet?
Dave Giuliano? No, I don't think that's.
Are you correct on that?
Maybe no.
Who was
Maybe
it?
that was Jeffrey King. Okay, I'm sorry. My bad.
No
My
problem.
bad.
I was going to say, wait, I don't think I know that word or that name. And if he was my mentor, then he did something to me. It made me forget it.
Now
It was my bad. That was my bad.
I do know Jeff King, though. So,
Yeah, I think what we do so many guests, and they're all kind of related in a way, They
Yeah,
know.
they're all
Sure, it's a
intertwined
small
with one
community.
another.
Yeah, but anyway, he's coming on Thursday, so you can chime
fun.
in and watch Thursday and says, "Oh, that's who he is."
Yeah, there you go.
How about the game, the Occult Detective role-playing game? How did you come about with that?
Well, obviously, from the paranormal angle, right? So the role of an occult detective has always been important to me, and I've always enjoyed the fiction that kind of centered around that world. Aleister Crowley wrote occult detective fiction. So like Dion Fortune wrote occult detective fiction. So it's always been a fascination for me how these occultists, in turn, would write fiction and kind of put their own thoughts and philosophies into those works as a way to spread the word of their. I mean, that's what Crowley was doing. He was
Right.
like, if you look at the book Moonchild, which is a great occult detective novel, but it's also a great way to learn about the OTO, Thelema, and all those thoughts. So I write occult detective fiction, and I grew up playing role-playing games, and I thought, what a great fit they would make. A way to disseminate magical knowledge through a fictional universe, and have the people sitting at a table where you're actually interacting with elementals and demons and angels and ghosts in a safe environment, and just a way to have fun and have it be as educational as you want it to be. If you're playing at my table, right, we go a little deep. But it's perfectly. The game is designed where if you want to sit and you just want to play a Scooby-Doo caper, you can do that too, right? So it's what you want to make of it. But yeah, it's my son and I. We developed the game. We'd already worked on a couple of other RPGs for people. We'd done some work with Michelle Belanger as well. So yeah, we were kind of set up to do something, and the occult detective genre seemed a perfect fit for role playing.
Wow.
And it's all magic. All art is magic. All magic is art. So
Correct.
it's just a way to express yourselves in your leisure time.
Love that.
I do too.
It is really
I want to get
cool.
it now. Is it on Amazon?
It is on Amazon, yes.
That's
Okay.
what
Occult Detective role playing game. We
Yeah.
we talked about naming it different things, right? But we decided let's just say what it is. The
Mhm.
Occult Detective role playing game, right? You know exactly what you're getting into.
Well, you did. Well, how many? About 3
It is.
books, I think, that you did. That's on Amazon as well.
Yeah, sure. I've got several novels and short story collections out there. I wrote a kind of a 2-book series about werewolves in northern Indiana. It was
right.
kind of like a gothic romance, a little more visceral, perhaps. Um, that's Shadows over Somerset and Keepers of the Dead. And then I wrote a lot of occult detective fiction that I just compiled all that into something called Landon Connor's Occult Detective. And it's like 600 pages long of just strange occult mysteries. And I have a couple of nonfiction books out there.
Mhm.
One that's just called Occult Detective, which is essentially like a collection of blog posts and essays and stuff that I'd written mostly during COVID. So there's a lot of COVID references, a lot of Trump references, and the like in there. But it's all it's all very prescient. It's still
Relevant.
relevant today. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is cool.
Well, I
So,
bet Chris wants to ask this next question.
yeah, I do. I was watching a video today of you and another young man having a conversation, and werewolf popped up. So, can you explain what you saw?
Sure, absolutely. It's the reason I wrote the werewolf novels, right? So, in 1986, I'd have been about 20 years old. Me and my friends were out at this place called Goose Creek, and it's a place that all through high school we used to go out and do magic rituals. We used to meet out there all the time. There was an altar up on the hill that a friend of mine had built. So we spent a lot of time out there. Well, after I'd gone off to college, came back for a visit, we went out there to kind of kick around and see the old place. And as we're kind of, it's an odd place to describe. Where we live, there's a reservoir that was built by the Army Corps of Engineers, and so half of the year it's a lake. The other half of the year, the water's all let out. So you see the old roads, and that's what Goose Creek is. There's an old road that runs out, and where there used to be a bridge, kind of drops off to nowhere, and that's why we used it as a liminal space for our magic. But so we're out there on that road, and as we're turning around, we see these eyes watching us from the woods, low to the ground, and of course, you're kind of nervous about that. So we start moving in that direction, and as we get closer, we start hearing them growl. And I'm like, it's like a pack of wild dogs. Surely not wolves. We don't have wolves in Indiana. And so we move a little closer. They're getting aggressive, and I tell my friends, "Hey, don't run. They'll chase us. Just keep moving slowly up the road, and we'll get back to the cars and get out of here." And that's when one of them stood up on hind legs and growled, and then they came out of the woods
Wow.
chasing us, and we're running for our lives. And we get up to the top of the hill where there's like a barricade to keep cars from driving down that road. And we're diving over that, and we get to the cars, we jump inside, shut the doors, turn around, nothing's there. But we could feel their breath on us. We could hear the snap of their jaws at our heels. It was terrifying, and kind of a life-changing experience.
I bet. Absolutely.
And what's odd, if you study Native American lore in the area I'm from, there's all kinds of talk about, these kind of dog men, wolf men type creatures. And since then, in the past 20 years, there have been sightings like crazy around here. And so it's like I'm running into people all the time that have had strange, everybody's calling them dog men now, but back then, it's it is what it is, right? So
I was just going to ask you if there was a difference between, because Chris has seen a dogman, and so that's why I was wondering if there was a difference between a werewolf and a dogman. But it sounds like that's what they're calling werewolves now.
Right. I think the difference is a werewolf, as the way you think of it, is a man that transforms into a wolf. Like a skinwalker is a magician who turns into a kind of a wolf hybrid creature. Whereas a dog man is most likely just a creature that exists, then that's just what they are.
Gotcha. There's no transformation.
Or they're all the same thing. I mean, right? So we don't know until somebody captures one,
right?
Or like interacts in a more in a less aggressive way.
Right.
I mean, I've talked to people who've seen them like shape shift right in front of them, that kind of stuff, and that I did not see. So all I know is the experience I had. And on another occasion in the mid '90s, I had a friend who contacted me who lived in Arkansas. And they had a rash of dogman sightings there, and he asked me to come down. And so we went down, investigated. We interviewed dozens of people. And then we went tracking them through the Ozarks, up through the mountains, camping. We stayed out there for 2 weeks trying to catch up with them, but we never did. We would hear wolves in the distance, but we never got close enough. They're smarter than us.
Right. That's crazy. Wow.
That is. Well, I know some people said the difference was like the tail or the ears that was different, but I don't know because I never really seen one.
Well,
so
if you interview enough people, you realize that it's true with anything. People process things differently. So the way they describe something may not always be accurate. So you don't know. I mean, how many of these dogmen sightings, quote unquote, are Sasquatch or vice versa? It's like, is the skunk ape different than Bigfoot, different than a dog man? Because we all, we have no way of knowing because they're
versus
all
the Yeti.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And it's a mystery that may never be solved, but that's what we're here for, right? That's like, we're out there, we're looking, we got our ears to the ground, and, you hope someday.
My biggest question is I've seen a lot of videos where people's had those trail cams out, and they've had footage of what looked like a werewolf / dog. How much is that real?
Well, how would you know now?
Yeah, with AI.
With AI, there's just, I mean,
it's really difficult. It's like somebody's placed that Skinwalker Ranch. Dogmen's been seen, skinwalkers, UFOs. How much of this is actually related? How much of it's actually interdimensional?
Right.
They're 1 minute, gone the next. Where the hell did it go?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Right.
A long time ago, I decided that I had zero interest in proving the existence of any of this stuff. Because there's no way, if you don't believe it, no matter what I show you, I'm not going to convince you. And if you're a believer, whatever I show you, chances are you're just going to believe it.
Right.
So for me, all of this is a personal experience, right? Everything I do is to interact with high strangeness and learn what I can on a personal level and how it affects me. If I can help other people along the way on that path, then even better. But I'm a storyteller first and foremost, and so I'm always looking to engage with that creature's story, be it a ghost, a wolf, or whatever. That's what I'm here for.
Speaking of creature, I have a creature right here. So
The
that's our
infamous
oldest,
daughter.
yeah, that's our oldest daughter. She just has to pop in and say
I'm the
hi.
other hostess.
With the mostest.
Yes.
Well,
Nice to meet you.
I don't know if I'm the mostest, but yeah.
she wants to say hi. She looked up your comic book because I was telling her about the Vampirella, how big it
Yeah.
was, you know.
I think that's really cool.
And
Oh,
we used to read it, and she had to look it up online. And it's like, oh, and she had to show all her TikTok friends that, hey, my
Yeah, I've been
mom's-
talking about you all day.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes.
So if you're on TikTok, Bob, your followers just went
Don't
up.
look up my page.
Oh no.
Yes.
Yes.
I said, don't look at mine.
So you have a YouTube where you buy and review occult books?
I do. I review a little bit of everything. Yeah, so I get a lot of books sent to me by like Weiser and Llewellyn. So and then I review stuff. I have a used bookstore that I run with my wife and son. And so we get a lot of stuff that passes through that way. So I'll review old stuff that comes through. Yeah, so I'm always got an ear out for books, and it's probably my first love. You know, it's like if you could see in the room I'm sitting in right now, I have books for days. So mostly stuff on the paranormal and the occult. And
So I'm going to
Yeah.
put you on the spot.
okay,
What is your favorite book?
favorite book of any genre or
Well, let's say
Uh,
paranormal genre, you know, occult, you know, any type.
Like your top. Like if someone was just getting into it, what would you tell them to read?
Oh yeah, so that's really
Question.
rough because most of the stuff I review, and that's a bone of contention with me, is like almost
Mhm.
all books are written for beginners,
Yeah.
right? So unless you're going back, you know, to Crowley and Fortune and that kind of stuff, who wrote the full gambit. But if I was going to introduce somebody to a book, I would recommend Donald Tyson's The New Magus. Familiar with Donald Tyson?
I heard of
Tyson.
Don. Yeah, I heard of Donald Tyson. Which book was it?
Yeah, The New Magus. So it came out in the mid '80s, and he did a really good job of taking hermetic and ceremonial magic
Mm-hmm.
and breaking it down and simplifying it. And I just thought, you know, of all the books I read, that one probably was the one that was probably the easiest for a novice to understand. And
Yeah.
he takes it from A to Z, you know, and by the end of the book, you're performing magic, you know.
Wow.
So, yeah,
I
it's a
think-
really good book.
I don't know if we have some of his books. That sounds familiar, but I can't remember. I can't remember in the mid '80s. I was having babies.
Yeah, right. He wrote a lot of he did a
I
lot
was
of
one of
stuff with Lovecraftian magic, right? So kind of dipping into the Typhonian OTOs kind of realm, and where you take it kind of dips into chaos magic a little bit too, right? Where you're taking this quote unquote fictional mythos but yet you're able to build magic off of it. Like, when I was, in high school, the Necronomicon was the thing, right? The Simon Necronomicon,
Yes. Mhm.
right? So that was the first real grimoire that I ever.
Mhm.
And it's, it's an actual grimoire. The magic in it works, but it's, it dips into fictionalized mythologies, and but it was a very powerful book. Still is. I mean, I recommend, spending a little time with it anyway. It's worth a read, just to get
definitely.
that feel. I mean, that's something that's not around anymore. Yeah, like Book of Shadows are great, but like an actual grimoire, they're a little harder to come by, and the ones that come out now are a little watered down. I like something with a little flavor.
Right. Yeah.
I agree. It's hard,
Yeah. It is. That's very hard.
especially like as from like a seasoned witch. Like it's hard to find things that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of magic, though, now you mentioned about chaos magic as well. So, what kind of magic would you say you prefer the most?
Folk magic, probably at the root of it. That's where it started, right?
Yeah, I
If you
agree.
go back to earliest man, right? It's cause and effect, right? So it's sympathetic magic, all that stuff that tied up into early folk magic.
Yeah.
That stuff works. It doesn't take, you don't have to learn strange languages. You don't have to recite Hebrew. That kind of stuff always bothered me, right? So it's like, I'm not Jewish, I'm not Christian. Why are you having me perform these rituals where you call them the quarters and all this? And it's like, it's all steeped in Christian, and it just never seemed right, because not being a Christian, why would I be calling on Michael or Raphael or
Yeah.
I'm reading a book right now that's like that. She's an Irish witch, and so throughout her book, she is emphasizing, the Gaelic part, learning to say the Gaelic, which obviously I'm from Irish heritage, so I'm very deeply interested in it. So at least she phonetically tells you how to say it,
right.
because I'm like, I'm butchering these words like crazy.
Right.
Andre.
Well, you have to learn the charm of making, right?
Yeah.
You recite the charm of making.
Holy cow.
I only know it because of a movie. Right? But that's early Gaelic.
Yeah.
Right? And
I used to know a little bit.
It sounds beautiful, though.
I used to know a little bit from Outlander.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. So the what I just recited is something that Merlin says frequently in the movie Excalibur. So so as a kid, I saw that movie in 1980 at the theater, and seeing that's something we don't talk enough about, is the influence of cinema on our magical practice, right? So Excalibur was a huge influence on me, because you saw magic performed on the screen, but nothing at all compared to. Have you ever seen The Devil Rides Out with Christopher Lee?
Yes.
Okay. So that movie came out in the late 60s, and it's from a book written by Dennis Wheatley, and Dennis Wheatley was friends with Aleister Crowley. All the magic in the book was real and authentic. Of course, kind of dressed up for his readers, but they did the same thing in the movie, and they're performing like legitimate rituals on screen. And I'm a little kid at the drive-in watching this, and I'm like, okay, because you read it in a book, and it's also confusing, but when you see it on a big screen, it's like, oh, that's how you do it, or that's how you pronounce it, right? That kind of thing. So, I mean, I talk to people all the time that are considerably younger than me that were influenced by the craft, and so yeah, there's a lot of power in cinema like that, and yeah, a
you
lot of great
touched on-
movies.
So you touched on something. I wanted to bring it back to that. You just touched on like that movie was authentically made based on that book, and the magic that they were actually depicting in the movie was very authentic.
Mm.
So do you feel that's changed now? Because when we interviewed Patty Negri was talking about that she's helping two young writers write a book, and so she's having to water down the magic part because she's like, you don't want that on screen. And I'm thinking to myself, well, but why not? Is it
Yeah,
just
well, I mean, I grew up with it on screen, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it was great for me. I don't know why you'd want to water it down.
Yeah,
I guess the
exactly.
fear is you don't want people out there messing with things that they're not prepared for. I can understand that.
Okay.
But at the same time, if you're going to, it's sort of like, have you seen A Dark Song?
Say it again. Have I seen what?
In A Dark Song, this woman, she loses her child, and she's just bereft. So she meets this magician, and they're going to perform the sacred magic of Abramelin.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they show this arduous process of performing this grimoire. It is not accurate to the actual ceremony at all. They call it the Abramelin, but what you're seeing on the screen is not the Abramelin. But the flavor is there, right? It has that resonance of what they're doing. That would lead you to, if you were to go and get, a translation of that ritual, it's not going to be the same, but the essence is true. And
Gotcha.
and so if you want to change things in that way, as long as you're keeping, its essence alive, I'm okay with that.
And that's exactly what she's saying and what she's doing too. So I was just really curious about why, why we made that transition suddenly when the 60s was, like you said, so authentically done. And now all of a sudden we're in 2026 and now it's, the essence of and not authentic. So I was just wondering what the reason would be.
It's weird because in the 60s and 70s, most occult groups were a closed practice and secretive.
Right.
And yet on the screen, you were seeing sort of legitimate rituals.
Right.
And now there are no
They're
secret
open.
societies per se. Everything's open, and now they're hiding it.
Yeah.
So on the screen, it seems backwards, but
Yeah.
I think it's up to each individual. If you read my fiction, you're going to see, rituals as I knew them. You're going to see adventures that I went on. They're all in there. They're all based on things that I experienced. They're just kind of, cinematized a little bit.
Right. Correct.
Because you're telling the story as opposed to, it's not a memoir. So.
Right. Exactly.
Well, that Lon Milo DeCret, oh, I said that right. We interviewed him last week, and he wrote a book about Aleister Crowley, probably years ago. Then he now came out this June. He did a novel about him, which
I just reviewed it.
A movie.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Cool.
I didn't like it.
I was just going to say, what did you think?
No. Well, first of all, it had an AI cover, and that upset me. I pay an artist, have them do the work, right?
I can understand that. Yeah.
All right, but the book, being well versed in Crowley's life, it was too fictionalized for me. The real story is more interesting than what they did. They basically made it, kind of Harry Potter-ish, right? So, and that's fine. People will read it and enjoy it, but probably not people that are well versed in Crowley lore. So.
Was he trying? Was that the one, Chrissy? If I'm mistaken, was that the one where he was just trying to like get it to go down to the younger generations?
He was, yeah. And then they asked him to make a movie of it that
Okay.
is still
Like my
Flip-
Yeah,
generation?
changing that there.
yeah,
Is
it's-
it for my
yeah.
generation or
Yeah.
for the younger
No,
generation?
well, your generation.
Oh yeah,
Like
I
your generation.
yeah, I understand the idea behind it. It just didn't work for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Understood. Totally.
But
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not the target audience either. So
Right.
Oh, no. We was
That's
just
why I was
talking about
curious.
Alexter. Yeah, we was talking about Alexter. I'm like, well, I wonder if he has, if you ever read those books of his.
I talked to Lon a lot. Lon's a great guy,
Yeah.
and I really respect him as an author. His nonfiction stuff is, highly recommended. He's coming at it from a different angle than I am, but boy, he knows his stuff. He's great,
Okay.
just a great author.
Oh, very interesting to talk to. We had a lot of fun with him.
Yeah,
It
he's funny.
Crazy time.
Yeah, you don't realize that until you chat with him that he's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
I think Carl's still locked up in the closet, isn't he?
He might be. Yes. Long regret. So
Poor Carl.
yes. I saw something about you on Para-Unity. I think it was for the last April, or was it for next year?
Well, this year in October, they're having their 8th annual Para-Unity event.
Yeah.
And so I've been there. This will be my 7th year. I was there for the first one, but yeah, it's a terrific event where paranormal investigators get together and bring the public in, where we get to kind of show off what we do, encourage people to go to different haunted locations, and it's a lot of fun. And they bring kids in, do trick or treating, and this year the proceeds are going to Riley Children's Hospital. So it's a great charity. So yeah, we're really excited about that.
Where's this at?
It's in Peru, Indiana. Yep. So that's Peru is the circus capital of the world.
I did not know that.
Yep. So
I don't know how
it was a place where the circus would winter there every year, and so it's a really, really historic town, and there's lots of just amazing locations all around that area. That's where I do most of my investigating, is in the Mississinawa area. It's the Mississinawa Lake and River, and we've got puckwudgies out there, and we've got all kinds of different specters and native spirits to interact with. So yeah, I love it out there.
Didn't Sid go out with Bob, or was I
No,
thinking?
Sid didn't go with me. I think Sid went out maybe with Craig and Jeff and them, maybe.
Okay, yeah, because I remember him talking about that. Yeah.
It was Jeff King.
Yep, I got to meet Sid at the last event, in person. Yeah, and he had a great chat with him. But hopefully, we'll get to go out on some adventures here soon.
Yeah, because you guys are really close. You're both in the same city, aren't you? Or
not in the same. No, I live in a real little town here, not too far away from Peru. He's on the other side of me, but still not too far. Maybe like 30-minute drive.
oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, because I'm trying to remember. We, obviously being on the other podcast with Sid, I'm pulling details from that into this one too.
Right.
So
Sure.
Thank you for your patience on that.
Oh, no problem.
I know. Well, I think it's great for the Para-Unity. Is that something that you like really 100% into? Because I know, because there's kind of like different sides. Some would say yes, and some would say they don't think it would, go over, because everybody in the paranormal universe is kind of like
So is this
fighting with each other.
So is this for like everybody to come together and just like have
Yeah, it's kind of to put your differences aside and just kind of show off your techniques, what,
I
the
think
way
that's
you
amazing.
investigate. Yeah.
Especially for
So,
like
like-
the younger generation to come to it and just see like what you guys have learned and maybe learn something from you guys.
Right. So, like, just for instance, like, I don't use any of the modern tech.
Yeah.
No K2 meters, no spirit boxes, no EMF pumps, none of that stuff. I hunt old school. And so I said, I was like the only ghost hunter around here for decades.
Mhm.
And there in the early 2000s, I was out at a site and I ran into these two guys. And I said, "Hey, what are you guys doing out here?" And they said, "Oh, we're looking for ghosts." I said, "Oh, really?" And they had K2 meters. It's the first time I'd ever seen one. And they started telling me about this show called Ghost Hunters. Where I live, we don't get, we didn't get cable or anything, so I didn't know it existed. So they were explaining that to me, and then like a couple weeks later, I ran into another group of people that all had K2 meters, the exact same equipment. We're investigating exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Again, Ghost Hunters was the culprit. And like, so there's a whole generation of people that learned how to ghost hunt from that show.
Right.
And shows that came after them. Whereas I grew up learning how to hunt for ghosts from like Hans Holzer, like you'd watch Leonard Nimoy's In Search Of, and you'd see how they would investigate then, right? So that's what I knew. And so I took that, from that and from books and just kind of developed my own style. So, and that's why Para Unity is so much fun, because we can all kind of interact and show off those.
I love that. I mean, I'm a totally for it, but there's just being on the paranormal end myself as a medium, it's very difficult. I've encountered drama myself in it, and let me tell you, I wasn't even remotely. I got targeted. Let's just put it that way. And I didn't do anything wrong, literally. But it's like, that's why you have a lawyer on retainer.
Right.
You can stop that crap really fast with a lawyer.
Yeah.
So I did.
Well,
Sometimes it's just your presence and they just start drama.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's
that's
just-
true
That's
with this
how it
one.
is. Like in the TikTok world, there's so much drama like everywhere, and you have to like dodge like bullets, and it's bad.
It's a different world. It really is.
It really is.
And you spend any time online, you see that people are just aggressive,
Keyboard
and
warriors.
negative, and it's just so it's nice when you can find little pockets of commonality and
Right.
getting along is so much better. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh.
everybody-
We're after the same thing. We're all
Yeah.
after the same thing. It's kind of like, one of my mentors said, I can't understand where, let's put it this way. Let me just put authentic mediums. The authentic medium should not be like in competition with another medium, because there's plenty of dead people to go around.
Right. They're everywhere, and they're stacked for centuries deep.
Correct.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, again, we're all trying to get the same information, the same education, and it's just mind-boggling to some degree.
And another
Well,
thing
so-
people, I think,
so-
forget that people just keep dying. So there's plenty of ghosts.
Yeah, there you go. See, yeah,
Fortunate.
And it's so weird because
You're
most of the ghost hunters you hang out with are hunting Eurocentric spirits.
yeah.
Right? And it's like, you're in America. There's 100 million natives that passed away
Correct.
for centuries, and you're just you're skipping right past that.
Right.
You're just, that's know your location. That's why I always like I think visiting paranormal hotspots is fun,
Right.
but you don't really learn anything from that, right? And so I always say, you should know your backyard.
Yeah.
Right? Know where
Right.
you live,
Right.
because there's a wealth of spirits and entities that you're just not interacting with, and they're
Yeah.
everywhere.
Right.
And yeah, you should know where you live. Of course, these days people move all the time, so I guess it kind of makes it harder. But I've lived here for 60 years, so give or take a few months here and there. But so the spirits I interact with, I've been interacting with for decades, and you just learn a lot more
Right.
about the fabric of the universe.
Yep. Exactly. I agree completely.
Well, it's like David Wells. He's from Shared Paranormal. He's saying, let's collaborate. He wants to collaborate with you. Peg unity is surging, he says. And his last comment is, it's untapped areas that's the best, which
and that's one of the reasons why I like working with him, because of the fact of the para-unity aspect of it. But the other part of it too is he's looking for locations that are untapped.
Yeah.
And I, as a medium, like that, because I don't need to keep going to the same location over and over again. I've already told you who's there and what they want and all that stuff.
Right. You can only go to Waverly so many times. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. I am really excited to explore the Hawthorne Hotel with you, though. Even if it's for one
I am
day.
too. I know, I am too. And I know nothing about it, so don't tell me.
Okay, I won't.
We don't either, so.
That's the best way, going in cold.
That's what I like to do. I like to go in cold to my investigations. And even as a native of Arizona, when I go into these locations that have been investigated over and over again, I'm probably a very bad Arizona native and don't know my backyard in that respect. But but to that point, it's really good that I don't know, because then I can go in and I can, with fresh eyes, and and tell them what's going on.
Right.
When I stayed there last time, you did pick up something, so.
Yeah. Oh, is this the same hotel? Okay, good. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Okay.
So, Bob, your son is kind of like following in your footsteps, correct?
He is. Yeah, he's a very talented author. He's an excellent game designer. I'm really proud of him. He's started telling stories as a youngster, so it's he's in his early 20s now. And he's at the top of his game right now. So, and oh my gosh, he's a machine. He just churns these books out so fast. It's makes the father proud.
Wow,
That's
I bet.
awesome.
I mean, I'd be proud too if my daughter is following my footsteps. I think.
I am.
But yes, it is a proud moment when your kids become like an inspiration to them, so they like to do what you do. So that is really awesome.
I think for me, for like my mother, like she has connected all these people from different backgrounds and made this beautiful community, and I would love to explore that more, even in the paranormal field. So
she just talks too much.
I do. That's what I
the
do.
extrovert in her. Nothing wrong with that.
So, Bob, is there anything you want us to tell us that's coming up that you want to plug in? I know we talked about the para-unity in October, but is any other projects that you have?
Well, I have a documentary series that's going to be coming out this fall. It's called Somerset, and basically I'll be exploring all the strange stories and haunted locations in that area of Somerset, Indiana, and tie it to Somerset in England and Somerset in Kentucky. For some reason, they all have goblins, and so we're going to kind of take a deep dive into all that. So I'm really, really looking forward to launching that this fall.
That's incredible. I can't wait.
I can't wait either. I love all that.
That.
Keep us posted on that too, because when it comes out, then Christy can post it out there for our members too.
Yeah.
So that we can be on the lookout for it.
Yeah.
Great.
She would, believe me, she would talk it up on TikTok. So
Absolutely, yeah.
get the
Jumping
younger
boxes
crowd.
and
I
everything.
am
All about
I am
it.
so not good at TikTok. Boy, I tell you,
Is your son on
I
TikTok?
don't get it. What's that?
Is your son on TikTok?
He is. Yeah, he's got a
Oh.
great channel, right? So, so yeah, he took to it. Of course, you know, it's being young, but I just in those short little snippets, I just can't do it.
You can just do a picture
Me
too.
neither.
Yeah,
She does
yeah.
mine.
I do a lot
I
of
got a
pictures
YouTube
that
channel. That's good
I-
enough, right? So
I just need her to get, once I figure out my password, to get in, have her get into my phone, and she can just do my TikToks for me, because I have no clue. I'm
yeah,
like,
right.
I'm tapped out on technology right now. It's like I
Me
don't.
too.
She's so good at it. So I'm like, okay, once I figure out my password, it's yours, baby. You go with it.
We'll just go
Bob?
live together.
You
Yeah.
have to tell your son to look up Within the Cauldron. right?
Actually, don't tell him to look up Within the Cauldron.
No, I'm going to. Yes.
She does want to. She's pretend like she's being a really nice lady, you know, and everything. So she doesn't want somebody to come in like, was that the woman on the on the
No, it's
YouTube
so-
last night?
I do a lot of.
What is this strange song she's lip syncing to? Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm a little spicy sometimes.
yeah, she is. She's very spicy.
I'm in my 30s. What do you expect?
Yeah.
So for Bob's sake, we're gonna say flavorful.
Yes.
I
There you
just
go.
love his, his little words that he chooses, flavorful.
Well, I'm so sorry. She kicked her dad out, and she's. I'm sitting
Well,
here.
I wanted to meet Bob. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You told me about him all day, so I had to meet him.
Well, and I appreciate that.
And now I'm going to be talking about Bob on TikTok tonight.
Well, if your ears are burning, you know why.
Yeah, you'll know why.
All good things, though.
I apologize.
Maybe
ahead
what you need to do is you need to find out what his son's name is, so you can follow him on TikTok, and then you
There
can
you go.
tag him when you talk about Bob.
Connor Landon Freeman.
There you go.
Okay.
Connor
Yeah.
Langdon Freeman. Freeman.
Yep.
There you go.
That's easy to remember.
We got that.
Connellan. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
It does.
See, I did that. My wife and I did that because my parents were from Arkansas, and they named me Bobby Dale, and I was like, I can never be president. I might be able to drive NASCAR or something, but no, nobody's going to take Bobby Dale serious.
No,
You have a point. You do have a point there. Yes.
Really, you can't name me Robert at least? No, I
Yeah,
got to be
right.
Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby. That's like, what's that show? I can't think of that movie now.
my name's just Amy, which is like, I feel like every daughter, like every girl that was born in the 90s was Amy or Amber. So I have like 8 other people in my class named Amy.
Yeah.
My
rather-
name's dying out, so there you go. Colleen is dying out. Yeah, I get
Oh,
Holly, Colleen.
Oh, you have a really pretty name.
Thank you.
I have a very common name, so
I
yeah.
love your name. Your name's pretty too.
Well, Bob,
Better-
it's been a pleasure. And before we leave, David says it's better than
Ricky Bobby.
Ricky
Thank
Bobby.
you. That's
Yeah.
the movie I was thinking of.
But it's
Ricky
close.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. But jump over to Bob's Facebook and his YouTube is scrolling across the screen.
And look up his son's TikTok.
And look up his son's TikTok and say, boo, guess who? No.
So you guys that, then you can tell me, he'll be like, who is this, Dad? And you can be like, it's from people from Within the Cauldron.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, it was great
Subscribe,
meeting you.
like, and share out everybody to Within the Cauldron and Behind the Witch's Veil. And Bob, stay behind for a little bit while we close out the show. And I just want to say thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. And she's going to go haunt your son now. So
You'll be fine.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
you're welcome.
Welcome.
Blessings to everybody. Many loves. Good night.
Good night, everyone.